Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ignite Your Heart and Soul right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I am your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest today is Colby Wilk. He is the Wayfinder. What he offers is not a miracle, although at times it is miraculous. He is an intuitive guide, a healer, a wayfinder, and he helps you find your way to who you really are and the life that has been calling. So why does he do what he does? He likes to help people find their way by helping them discover who they really are and the life that actually calls them, not the life they are taught to want, not the identity they're cobbled together to survive, but the one that fits like truth into the bones. He does this work because he's lived the gap between and how things look and how they feel. He's seen what it costs to stay in roles and routines and relationships that no longer serve us. And he knows the freedom, the terror that comes with choosing something more honest. He guides people back to themselves to help them untangle from their old stories, the outdated coping and inherited pressures, not so they can become someone else, but so they can finally be themselves, fully, powerfully, unapologetically. This isn't about self-improvement. It is about self-return. This is reclaiming. This is liberation. Because once you know who you really are and what your life is asking of you, there's no going back. And honestly, why would you want to? This is why he does what he does. Welcome to the show, Colby.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Now, we were talking before the show, and you are a person that's hypersensitive and really does feel what's the inside of people. Doesn't matter what the facade is or what they say or what they're presenting. You have a radar that picks up what's going on in the inside. Has this been something that's always been with you?
Well, first off, it's a pain in the ass. I'll tell you.
Yes, I can understand
Yeah.
that.
So I am somebody, I came in, yeah, pretty much. I've always been highly, highly sensitive to environments, to other people's energy, other people's moods, their thoughts, and I have tremendous empathy, like off the charts. So yeah, I came with this, and then I recognized I had an innate talent to understand people, and I was really curious how people make sense of themselves.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I sat at the feet of many gurus and shaman and teachers, received downloads, Shakti-Pod, and the rest, and opened.
Hmm.
And I continue to do so.
And on that journey, obviously, you had to allow once you opened, allow, um, and just, kind of take the path for it to reveal. Did you have an understanding of where it wanted to take you, or did you just walk the path in your own self-discovery?
People think a path is a straight line
Mm-mm.
or a path is like a road.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's stepping stones. You can sense your next step, and then from there you look for your next step. But it's not like a 5-year plan.
Right, right.
I mean,
Yes.
if you want to do that, then well, there are professions you can do that. There
Hmm.
certainly is. You need to go get your BA, then your MA, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And God bless those folks. And you could do that and still have a very high spiritual life. But for me, it's just sensing, really, it's about being in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. The gift of the now. And now is what we only have. And who we are and what we do in this now will dictate the next moment. And I think so many people are busy living the next moment. They're not paying attention to the gift of the now.
Right. Everyone's rushing.
Hmm.
And, information, AI. I was thinking the other day that I live in Seattle and now I'm, quote, competing with healers in the whole English speaking world.
Hmm.
The world has broadened,
Yes.
and it's difficult to not be one of the many, many screaming memes out there telling you how great they are,
Yeah.
right? Or telling you what they can do for you. Yeah, we're being inundated by technology, Facebook, Instagram, whatever have you. And so there's very little to have us settle in to who we are.
Yeah. Too much static around us that we're not being able to actually pick up, the frequency that we're meant to be on. And I think there's also too much of what I call societal dictation. You should be this, you've got to be that. You'll only be liked, you'll only be popular, you'll only be accepted if you're A, B, C, and D. And people forget it's an inside out job, living, it's not the outside in. And that unless you have the connection within yourself and with whatever source that you believe in, you're always going to be chasing something and never find it.
I was at the gym today and I took off my earbuds and it was quiet because everyone's got their earbuds in, other than the slamming down of the machines. But when I first started working out X number of years ago, the music was blaring, people
Mhm.
complain the music's too loud, and everyone's in there. We are becoming more a part of the globe, and yet we're in our own little worlds.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we wonder why we're isolated. We don't know how to
Yeah.
connect
No.
and to others, to ourselves.
Right.
So amped up and we're missing it. And the idea, everyone feels because I have a lot of clients, some of them are extremely wealthy to me. And even though they're extremely wealthy to me, they still think they're poor. Still think
Hmm.
five houses and da 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 da,
Yes.
and they still are like scratching by. And I get that's a mindset, but there's so much propaganda about wanting or about
Yeah.
having that we're not allowing, well, the younger people to really know themselves.
Chasing a dream. Well, what dream is this? Because very often it becomes a nightmare. It's when is enough. And if you're constantly chasing the outside, you're not paying attention to the inside. And when you're truly enriched and abundant within, you resonate out. And but if everything is put into exterior, you're constantly feeling hungry. And no amount of money, no amount of power, no amount of popularity is going to feed you. You have to go in. And once you're in, you need to understand that it is to share out.
Right, but that's a very difficult marketing proposition.
Yes.
I tell people, like, look, I had a session months ago with this woman, and what I've been told repeatedly is she she said, "Look, I'm afraid to come to see you because I'm told you tell the truth."
Hmm.
And I'm like, "Well, the truth is I see it. Yeah, I'm afraid." I'm like, and I'm thinking I would kill for someone to tell me what's in my way. Like I would
Yeah.
kill for that, right? And so she's afraid, and God bless her. So we had our session. I told her what I told her, and I got this scathing email afterwards. I shamed her.
Oh.
And I wrote back a lovely email asking her to sit and rewatch the session. And now it's been 5 months, and she writes me again. I've been thinking about our session pretty much every day, and it's changed my life. You finally told me what other
Hmm.
people, I guess, maybe knew, but they didn't know how to tell me or whatever the case may be. And I'm more free than I've ever been. Thank you. But people say they want change.
Hmm.
They don't want change. They want everything to change around them.
Around them. Yes.
We all don't want change. I don't want to change. That's true, right? But the truth is, until you change,
Yes.
things are not going to be different. You're just making God's, Lord's, Allah's, whatever you want
Mm,
to call it, its creation wrong. And you cannot prosper when you're making the world wrong. You just can't. It
no.
doesn't work that way. So here she is months later. So I say a lot, look, I'm not here to make you happy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to help you become free.
Mm-hmm.
That process
It's
is
a
not
journey.
always a journey, right? It's deeply satisfying, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
easy, right? So I help people find themselves, find what they want, find who they want to be. That's the three things I do. And that process sometimes involves telling somebody some hard truths. Because
Yes.
something, and I say this to you, your listeners, is something's not happening in your life. You want the lover, you want the house, you want health. There's a truth you're avoiding.
Mm,
That's it. That's it. There's a truth you are avoiding
right.
dealing with. That's, and you're like, oh, what's the truth I'm avoiding? Because you could have anything you want. Because you're a creator. I mean, we all know that by this point.
Mm-hmm.
Who's listening to your show kind of knows that, maybe not accepted it fully, but okay, what truth I'm avoiding. So I'll give you an example from my own life. I love to lift weights, but it hurts me. I get tired
Mm-hmm.
and I get headaches. What I'm supposed to do, what I my body's asking for is long, deep stretches. I don't want to do it. I hate it. I do not want to. And the more I fight it, the more compact,
Mm-hmm.
the headaches, the
Mm-hmm.
tension. So I'm avoiding the truth.
Yeah.
Truth is, my body doesn't want to lift weights. I do.
Yes.
It doesn't. And as long
Right.
as I push my agenda, I will suffer. So I say to your listeners, what truth are you avoiding?
Mm-hmm.
Because it may, you embracing that truth may ripple out and lie in your life
Yes.
in ways you can't even anticipate.
Exactly.
New house, new lover, new health. You don't even know,
Your
right?
purpose. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, we've got to be the change we seek, right? It's not what, the changes, as you said, around you. If we want to make change around us, we have to become the change and inspire other people to want to change. Inspiration begets invitation. And when people are inspired by who you have become and what you are doing, it very often can be, can I be? Is there something within me? And it can be that. But then there's also resistance. And I say resistance is futile. As you picked out in me, there are tears inside of me, which I've been avoiding. Um, I suppressed them so far and deep that, they hardly ever come out, and I'm unaware of them. Although, yes, I know they probably are weighing me down. And if we are avoiding, that avoidance will manifest in other ways, in physicality, in stress, and things not going. Why do things keep going wrong around me? It's because you're still in that frequency and you're avoiding what you need to do in order to change that frequency up onto a different channel. And it all comes down to us. We have to do the work. But then there's people like you along the way that show us what it is we need to do
You know,
for us to know how to move forward.
I think it's interesting whenever I've had a client come to me that say, look, I've done a lot of work, and I look in their field,
Mm-hmm.
nope. You've had a lot of people work on you.
Yeah,
Because anytime a healer works on you, there's a signature left.
right.
Feel the signatures, but you haven't done a lot of the work. No, because work means confronting yourself.
Yeah.
Work means allowing yourself to become who you are. And the more you allow yourself to be you, the more you glow.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
So the work is you allowing yourself to be you. Another way of saying it is spirituality is a coming out process. You're continually coming out to yourself. You
Yes.
may be afraid, apprehensive to come out
Mm-hmm.
as whatever you are. But look, you're not the same person you were 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
No.
You've changed. The more spiritual you are, the less you hold on to your former identity.
Right.
Are you
Yes.
let go?
Hmm.
Or are you trying to accumulate wealth, status, comfort, convenience, security? That's
And love for love's sake, rather than it being love that ignites. So many people are looking for love in all the wrong places, and it's not just the wrong place, it's being the wrong person. You're going to attract who you are now, and if you don't like what you get, it's a reflection on who you are now.
love is an interesting. I had another client last week, young lady, 35, yogini body, like really beautiful, blonde. And she's like, I can't meet anyone. I'm like, what do you mean you can't meet anyone? Like, come on. No, can't meet anyone. And I go and look, and clearly I see she's at the altar. She wants to get married. I see that in my head,
Mhm.
but there's no groom. I ask, my beings, like, what's up with this? She clearly wants to get married. She's like, she's much more interested in being validated than
Yeah.
being loved.
Uh-huh.
And so I said to her, I took a deep breath because I know she's not going to like this.
Hmm.
I said, are you sure you want to be in love? Yes. I say, why? She doesn't know how to answer that.
Hmm.
Always like a tip off. Like if you don't know why, there's something else operating you other than you. And I says to her, Gladys, I think what you're looking for is validation, not love.
Hmm.
And she starts to cry. She really wants someone to bring home to her father to say, look, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And as long as she's looking for validation through a relationship, she's not going to get it.
No.
That's the truth that she's avoiding.
Yeah.
So the work is not trying to get her to meet somebody, teaching her social skills or whatever the case may
Hmm.
be, but helping her to learn how to validate herself.
Exactly.
And with that, that gives her freedom.
Self-value, right? Based on who we are and who we feel that we have to contribute, and not somebody else's ideal of who we should be.
If something's not happening in your life, it's because you're avoiding a truth.
Hmm.
Another client, similar. This is a gay guy wants to be married, and I go look, and I'm like, you don't want to be married. There's no way you want to be married. You don't even want to live with anyone. Like I do too. I go, no, you do not, because you have spent your whole childhood and early 20s navigating around people.
Hmm.
You don't want to navigate around anyone. You don't want to have somebody living in your house that you have to navigate around.
Right.
That's true. That's right. Yeah, but can I find a lover that I don't have to navigate around? Only if you think you don't have to navigate, but you believe you have to navigate around everyone.
Yeah.
That's our work.
Hmm.
You are free of having to navigate. You could just be.
Hmm.
See, if people think when they go to a healer or a therapist, they know what the problem is and that they know what they want.
Hmm.
Often that is not the case. The reason something's not happening in anyone's life, your life, listeners, is because you are avoiding a truth.
Hmm.
What truth are you avoiding? I'm
Right.
avoiding the truth that my body doesn't want to lift the weights anymore. I am clear about that,
Yeah.
right? What are you avoiding?
Yeah. And, as you pointed out, the tears inside of me, and a lot of that is, you know, um, yes, I would like my life to have been a different trajectory in some aspects. And other aspects, I'm most certainly where I'm meant to be. But it's also, I think, like you as an empath, tears for the world. I get absolutely kind of despaired by the cruelty that humans do to one another, and what is going on. And for me, it's about, all I can do is just empower the energy to fight back. Um, but I do feel helpless sometimes. That everybody's voice counts, and what we have to do is be a chorus. But it's bringing people together as a chorus, and but yeah, sometimes just like to beam up and avoid the pain for a bit.
Tibet is not free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if any country deserves to be free, probably Tibet.
Yeah.
And Tibet has a lot of energy and prayer and meditation, people constantly putting energy towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And we can complain, worry about why Tibet's not free and the injustice of all that,
Yeah.
which is not going to help anyone, really,
No, I know. Logically, rationally, yes, but
because God, Lord, Allah, whatever that is, its ways are not our ways.
mm-hmm.
And this is where I think the self-development community goes in the wrong direction, that we try to understand why things happen,
Mm-hmm.
try to access the law of attraction to make things go our way. But the truth is, and there's a place for that. There's a place for managing your thinkings and thinking.
Yes, yes.
There's totally a place. But there's also, it is the great mystery.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how it works. We don't. And all we can do is do our best and let go of the rest.
Exactly.
And what New Age
Exactly.
people are not good at is letting go.
Yet. Right.
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
The
Or
bad,
being or trusting to be themselves and letting go of the expectation of who they should be. I think that's, I think self-love is probably one of the hardest journeys for most people.
right. And self-love begins with not making this wrong,
Right.
right? I
Right.
should have been tall and blonde, maybe Scandinavian, maybe
Mm-hmm.
gymnast. I'm not. Short, hairy, funny, right? I'm not good at math, right? That's who I am. Okay, this is what I got. This is what I'm working with. It's a good deck. It's a good hand. It's a good deck of cards.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's, it's if we're constantly again comparing and competing, why aren't I like this person? Why aren't I like that? Then you are actually shortchanging yourself because every single one of us is a gift. We were born with a gift. It's how do we use that gift? How do we be of service to others with that gift? And we're all enough. I always draw the analogy that you're in the elevator up to the penthouse to see the CEO, but if the place is dirty and tardy and messy, your image of the CEO changes. The janitor, who nobody appreciates and nobody sees, has set the stage for you to walk in there. Oh, it's nice and clean and presentable. My image, is good. So I think with this, I need to be this to be loved or to be popular, to be counted, to be validated. And it's like, no, whatever role you were given in life, that's what you were chosen for. Do it with pride and with love. If you really truly feel it is coming from the inside out and not an expectation on the outside.
Right. So we're not advocating that if you were born to a plumber, you have to be a plumber, right?
Right. No.
Or if you're in a shitty job, stay in a shitty job.
Right.
If you
Or
have,
my lot in life. No, it's not about that.
if
Yeah.
you have a shitty job and you got no other job prospects, yeah, try to enjoy it as best as you
Mm-hmm.
can, because that'll advance your state of consciousness. And look around,
Mm-hmm.
look around. Everyone is trying to find. I think everyone, given the economy, a lot of people are scamping around trying to secure.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
you can get pretty frightened if you look around.
Yes. Yes. And it goes back to, the you are the peace you seek, you are the change you seek, you are the love that you seek. And it's like you are the gift.
And that's very interesting because you can't seek and find.
Hmm.
You can't seek peace. You ain't gonna find it.
Right.
It's like
You
you
got to
can't
be it.
seek enlightenment because the part of you that's going to enlightenment is not the part that seeks.
Mhm.
Only allow enlightenment.
Exactly.
You can only allow love. If
Yeah.
you're out there at the nightclub looking, you ain't gonna find it. You're gonna find something else,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna find love.
No.
You get what you're looking for sure. And a lot of people don't realize what they're looking for. Like, why am I going out tonight?
Hmm.
What is my real intention of going across to the neighbor's house? What do I really want from them? Am I going to give energy, take energy? What am I going for? What do I want? Like, so for me, being a very over the top empath, I'm ethical because I'm empathic.
Hmm.
That's why I'm ethical. And
Yeah.
I remember, I reminded myself this morning, other people are not ethical because they're not as empathic, Colby.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't feel other people's feelings.
Hmm.
They barely feel their own feelings.
Exactly. Exactly.
They're not, the only reason they would be ethical is because they have a code of conduct.
Hmm.
Most people aren't raised with a code,
No.
an honorable code. So empaths and HSP, which I imagine is a large portion of your audience,
Mhm.
it's tough for us.
Oh, yes, it is. It
Tough.
is. I mean, compassion is something, as an empath, we have compassion for people, but it's, feeling, absorbing what they're feeling or what they're struggling with, and it's the desire, of course, to put things right, but we can't put things right. All we can do is shed light on the situation for them to put things right. And right,
And not make them wrong,
right,
not getting their impact on us.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And everything is, I call it the sunny side of the street. There are people on this side of the street that are in darkness, and you've got the road there that's the invitation to step on the road. And you have the people on the other side of the street that they are the enlighteners. And they're there to share that energy, to share that light, but you've got to walk that road. But they can't share anything if you don't come out of the dark. Right? When you come out of the dark and you're on that road, they're not there to tell you how to do it. They're there to share with you, wisdom skills for you to apply if it fits, for you to take down your road of life. And we've got to be understanding that it is for whatever, this is called self-discovery wisdom and the discovery of our own wisdom, which we can download anytime. It can be ignited anytime with our soul in truth. It can be given to our heart in connection. It's given to our spirit in action for our minds to know in clarity what it needs to know when it needs to know it. The knowingness. And when you have that knowingness, it just is. You don't need to verify, justify, anyfy. It is. And to get that feeling, it is just that this is what I travel down the road with. And I know it's going to lead me where I need to go and be. But it's trusting that knowledge, trusting that wisdom without the intellect getting in the way again. Yeah, but.
Well, with people who struggle with faith, I say, if you struggle with faith, you don't need faith. You just need to know how things work.
Mm-hmm,
There's a way that the universe works. If you know it, you don't have
mm-hmm,
to. So for me, one of the rules is, if I take time for myself, take some deep breaths and anchor in, I could intuit, I can feel if, let's say, this food is going to work for my digestive system,
mm-hmm,
or I can go out and, oh, do you want to go to this restaurant, that? Oh, I can feel like, so the more I anchor into myself,
mm-hmm.
and the quieter I get, intuition is not something magical.
No,
It's something deeply grounded in presence.
yes.
The more
And there's,
present you get, the more intuitive you get.
yeah, you got to feel it.
Feel.
Mm-hmm,
But there's a way that things work
mm-hmm,
that will bring you to your next step.
mm-hmm.
Next step is always in alignment with what you truly desire, not a bonbon or a slice of pizza, but what you truly desire. Your soul, your angels, whatever you want to call that, is working you to bring the life to you that you want.
Yeah,
But you've got to be in the old lotto commercial. This may be outside of your context. Goes, you got to be present to win.
yes.
And that is true.
Mm-hmm,
And if you don't have a strategy to be present, there are lots of them.
mm-hmm,
I look on my website, there are lots of them. Okay, I'm present. What's mine to do next? There was a dog running around loose the other day, and I stopped. I'm like, is this mine to do? That
Mm-hmm.
dog, that mine. And I have a dog. I like dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always, and I'm like, stop. Clearly, it wasn't mine to rescue this dog.
Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised by that because
Mm-hmm.
probably if I rescue that dog in this moment, that little boy or little girl or whoever
Right.
will not meet that dog.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you get more present, the more you know your intuition, the more you know what is yours to do. You don't
And
need to wait
in
for the
knowing what you need to do, isn't about going out there and saving everyone. You have no
give anyone.
idea about the ripple effect. You've helped one person, or just stepping out of the way and letting them help themselves. It's the impact of the ripple, it's the impact of the frequency and the vibration that goes out, rather than the big grandioso, right? So not everybody's meant to be Gandhi, right? Malcolm X or any of that. They were chosen for that path, and a damn hard path it was for them. And they're only here to share their own light, and whether they shed it on you, that had you discover, that's great. But ultimately, where do we find our own light so we can see who we are, and where we need to be?
I used to teach a class in activating people's healing powers.
Mm-hmm.
I won't do it again because a lot of time people would come to the class and I could see what's in someone's field. It's
Mm-hmm.
not hard. It's not hard. Do a few things, things open up, not a problem. There are two reasons to become awakened. One, to know more peace.
Mm-hmm.
Peace leads to presence. Presence leads to influence, which leads to power. That path. Then there's the path of I want to be more psychic, be able to move energy because I want influence,
Mm-hmm.
want power.
Mm-hmm.
And
Don't
that
want to empower, want to have power.
power, I
Mm-hmm.
will empower you, but ultimately I want power.
Right.
I want people to know how special I am.
Mm-hmm.
Tell those people who put me down, F you, right?
Yes.
That path is a path of self-destruction,
Right.
right? So fairly easy to activate people, but you got to always ask yourself, why do I want something?
Exactly.
Those in your audience, you want something that you're stuck with. Why do you want it? Not
Right.
just because there's a reason you want something. And that reason has to be in alignment with your soul.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't getting it.
Right.
If you do, it's going to be a pain in the butt.
Right.
So
And to also understand that whatever we are given, whatever we ask for, there is an accountability and a responsibility for with it, right? You were given your empathic abilities not to manipulate, but to help people reveal,
I
right?
disagree. I disagree. I was given gifts. Another word for gift is curse. Both are true.
Right. Yes.
To me to decide how it's up to me to decide how to work my gift or my
Right.
right? Because
Yes.
being a high sensitive empath with psychic
Hmm.
ability is a giant pain in the ass.
Yes.
It is, and it's a great gift.
Yes.
Both are true, but it's not like I'm special or anything. I'm as special as a plumber, a lawyer, a teacher. It's just another gift.
We're all chosen for something. This was the path you were chosen for. So whether you like it or not, you were given it for a reason. you know.
I I ch I like to believe I chose this
Hmm.
because it moved me along to awaken to my soul.
Yeah.
And somebody who's a plumber, they chose that, not neither good nor bad, better or worse, because it was more in alignment with them.
Right.
You could always renegotiate those things.
Yes.
It's not like it's given to you and you're stuck. Your soul is trying to get you what you want,
Right.
what you wanted before you came to this planet in this form, and what you want now.
Yeah. Right. Right. Um, Very often we don't know what we want now.
I think people do know what they. I hear that a lot. People say, I don't know what I want. No, you know what you want. You're just afraid to tell me.
Right.
I could use my gift to tell you what I think you want, but I think you know what you want. Now, do you have the kahunas to tell me? Let's see. But
Hmm.
you may not think it's possible.
I think that that is for a lot of people, and it depends what stage of life they're in. I am at that stage of life now. I'm grandmother and do a great deal with my boys. I've got another boy coming along the way, so I'm going to have three little grandboys crawling all over me. And I get a great deal of love for them, and of course, a massive amount of love going to them. But then there's always that other love. I miss the hug. I miss just the embrace of being in a man's arms that I can trust, that I can feel safe in, and that, we can share each other's energy, the unspoken word, where we're in the same room and our energy is speaking and we don't have to. But I don't know if that's there for me. If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. But I
Can I
have
jump
love.
in? Can
Hmm.
I jump in? Can I say what I see?
Yeah.
Can you feel the tears? They just started up. Can you feel that behind you?
Yeah, the tears are always there, always ready to come out, but I just suppress them.
What if you didn't? One, what if you didn't? Why not? What are you hiding from anyway? Right? Why? One of my teachers would say, why hide from people who can't see you? And so why hide from somebody who can?
Hmm.
Because we all want to be seen.
Yes.
There are very few who want to be seen through.
Right.
And being seen through is really what gives you your freedom.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're stuck on trusting and being safe.
Yeah. Yeah. The past experience is still with me as ever much I try and let it go. Yes.
Of course. And
Yeah.
it's not like you're at fault for that.
Yeah.
It just diminishes the vibe of what you
Hmm.
want.
Yeah.
Because what you want is extraordinary, open, expansive love.
Hmm.
Let's get rid of the trust and safety, because
Yeah.
that's part of the rubric of what it is going to be anyway.
Hmm.
You're throwing you're trying to move a boat and you're throwing the anchor overboard while you're trying to move.
Hmm.
You're dragging an anchor behind you. So what if you let go of of feeling safe?
Right.
You felt safe, whoever you chose to be with.
Hmm.
He can't help you feel safe. You know that,
Right.
right?
Right.
He really, I mean, you know that and you don't know that.
Hmm.
Both are
Yeah.
true, right? But what if you let that go?
Yeah.
I don't need you to make me feel safe.
Hmm.
I don't even need to trust you.
Right.
I can just enjoy you.
Hmm.
What's happening in here?
Possibility.
What do you feel? Feel. You went in your head there. Nothing's,
Mm. I got one hell of a lot of love to give.
I keep on asking you what's in here, and you keep on responding to me from your head. I want to know what's in your heart.
It wants to share.
So my heart,
It wants to love.
okay. Notice what just happened in your throat as you said that.
Constriction.
So
Yes.
what's that? What's that constriction?
Yeah, that is, obviously still to do with with the trust issue.
So what's it going to take for you to let go of that?
Well, intellectually and
I
many
don't care
levels,
about that shit.
it's
I
like
don't care about her.
I just, just simply have to be loving, just simply be me and loving, and hopefully that it will attract.
Not working, my friend.
Okay.
So go in your throat. What's there?
Hmm. What is there?
I want to be in love, but I don't think I want to be in love, but
Um, yeah, there's quite a number of things that kind of come up. It's a part of it is I love my life where it is. I know I'm a person when I meet somebody, I'm all in. I don't want to be, you
okay.
know, all in with someone at the expense of everything else because I like where I'm at because I'm finally in the freedom of my own choice. But yes, it's I suppose it's perhaps disbelief that anybody could, and that's been the problem. Nobody's been able to love me in my light. It's the light that they wanted shed on them.
It becomes about them, not about you.
Yes.
Hmm. Why do I keep on seeing you chained up and you got this chain around your throat and it's hanging and there's a stick. You're kind of a prisoner and there's a
Hmm.
fire. It's like primitive and you're chained. And let me just and the guy, I'll just throw some guy at you who's your lover and you're like repulsed by him. You're like, you did this to me. You chained me up. Now I'm going to ask, what did he do?
I broke the trains.
I hate him, you say. You say,
Right.
I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. And he sits by the fire and he is kind of numb and he's sitting and he's rather stoic and he's just sitting looking and he's there physically, but he's not there. He's not taking in what you're saying.
Hmm.
Like, I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. And so your words, and then it's very funny. You unlatch yourself. So you're not really stuck there hanging there.
Yeah.
You go, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. And so your words do not penetrate him.
Right.
You're mad because you can't impact him. You can't get him to see you. You can't get a man to see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's happening in your throat?
It's me. I'm obviously I'm no problem. Maybe afraid for them to see me, or maybe disbelieve that anyone can see me.
Right. Well, I imagine both is true.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, if you were my client, I would say to you, could you repeat after me? And you say, I
I
allow,
allow
acknowledge,
knowledge,
and accept.
accept
Men can't see me.
men can see me.
Men cannot
Oh,
see me.
cannot see me. Sorry.
I accept that, I allow it, and I acknowledge it.
I accept that. I allow it and acknowledge it.
Stay in your throat. There's a lot of movement going to happen. Stay here. Don't look. Stay in your throat. There you go. Here we go. That's me, not you.
Yeah.
Hey, keep your attention on you, not me. There we go. Now we got some movement. I
I
not a cannot get heard by a man.
I cannot get hurt by a man.
There we go. 10. And clearing. There we go. Stay in your throat. I
I
have to be the sacrifice.
I have to be the sacrifice.
There it is. And clearing that. There we go. I see you on a cross. There we go. And clearing. Good. And clearing. Nice. Good. How are you now?
My eyes feel more open.
How do your throat feel?
Mm. Open.
I get.
I get.
I've been sad for a very long time,
I've been sad for a very long time.
but I've had to cover it
I've had to cover it
to get through.
to get through.
I accept that.
I accept that.
It's a lot of demonic stuff. Demonic meaning demons,
Hmm.
people who have done some bad things,
Hmm.
died, don't go where they're going and just hang out on the planet. Nothing to be afraid of. You show me you have six batteries, two of which are missing because you've given two of those batteries away, or you've used up your energy in this endeavor. So that's part of it. Like I won't give up my energy. I won't make this mistake again. Therefore, I won't get involved with another guy
Hmm.
because I can't trust myself to preserve my own power.
Hmm.
I'll just It's like an alcoholic says, I can't go into a bar, which is
Right.
a good decision, right? If you can't handle it, then don't,
Hmm.
right? But there's the challenge here is I want a relationship, but I don't think I can manage myself in a relationship,
Hmm.
right? And I don't trust that the guy I want is really out there. So I'm gonna have to settle for some bozo and then be challenged to hold on to myself. Bless you. There we go. It's good. Let it rip. Let it rip.
Little asthma attack going on here.
Good. Okay, how are you? What's going on?
Apart from still coughing. Yeah, I mean, everything Chris says is completely right. And yes, I'm guarded. It's distrusting and guarded. And it's do they want something from me or do they really want me?
You're not really
That's,
showing up.
yeah.
Let's just be really clear. So, uh, and you're really not showing who you are. And as somebody who's very sensitive myself, very few people can see me.
Hmm. Hmm.
They either want something from me or they think I'm really super weird,
Yes. Oh boy, yes.
right? And and the challenge of developing one's consciousness is there are fewer people out there to play with.
Hmm.
Give me one moment. I've got to resettle my system. Good, you look better.
Thank you. Yes, everything you say is absolute. It's almost a fight with myself of do I want to? Or am I making excuses? Am I lying to myself
Yeah.
that I'm okay where I am? Yeah.
You want it, you're afraid
Hmm.
of it, you're afraid of what it means, you're okay with yourself, and you're not okay with yourself.
Yeah.
All are true.
Yeah.
That's okay. But if you were my client, I would ask you to make your prayer like, I want romantic love, or however you want to language that, and I'm afraid of
Hmm.
being annihilated again.
Yes.
I'm afraid that I won't survive.
Mm.
Help me to know the truth.
Yeah.
Because if you really got that you were a limitless, powerful being,
Hmm.
this would not be a concern. If you're a human being. Okay, great. Because anyone you pick, look, the point of dating is to seed out who you cannot stand. That's really the point of dating.
Hmm.
Then once you find a pair, you're like, okay, I know what I don't want. You're what I want. And then as soon as you partner, you realize, holy crap, I didn't see this about you. I
Hmm.
can't freaking stand that. And then you have to work on yourself to accept them.
Hmm.
You picked. So you want love and you're afraid.
Hmm.
That's okay because
Yeah.
real love annihilates you. That's what it does.
Yes.
Someone's going to leave somebody.
Yeah.
by death or some other situation,
Right.
you're going to get rejected or betrayed. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's real love, that's the truth. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to rip you apart. You, that's true. And
Mm-hmm.
who says different? It was great, and I'm grateful that I had it, and it's ripped me apart.
Yeah.
Nothing stronger than somebody who's been broken,
Yeah.
and we've
Yeah.
been broken.
Yeah. Or even trusting it was love in the first place.
Well, when somebody's 20 something, 30 something, what do they know? What do you know?
Yeah.
You know nothing.
And you're very much kind of doing the expectation thing, right? So,
Well, and you're
yeah.
horny, and you
Mm-hmm.
procreate or not, or just have sex. I'm
Yes.
You're doing your best with what you got. And look, if you love somebody, you're going to love them for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
don't love them for the rest of your life, you weren't in love.
Exactly.
And if you love somebody and now they're an asshole, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's on you. That now there's something else going on here. If you think your ex-partner is a monster, because there really are no monsters out there. Once you understand, everyone's choices make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You understand who they are. Okay, so your listeners, those of you who want to be in love and don't have somebody, ask yourself one, why do you want this?
Mm-hmm.
What are you afraid of?
Mm-hmm.
Pray and
Mm-hmm.
go to someone, maybe me, maybe somebody else, who can help you go inside yourself to the places that are scary. Go, because we're all scared.
Yes.
We're all scared to go inside of ourselves because we're afraid
Yes.
to say something. That's okay. Find someone to go with you.
Mm-hmm. And like any experience can be scary. But the one of self-discovery, I think, is the scariest of all because we often look at something that we don't realize we're carrying with us that really didn't even belong to us in the first place. It's something that happened, something we witnessed, something that was imposed upon us, and we're carrying it along and we don't realize it's a heavy weight and we need somebody else to say, just let go, you know?
Right. When people are having trouble receiving, you can't really receive.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're trying to receive, you're really grasping.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing is repulsive as grasping.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, if you're trying to receive, the thing to do is, what do I need to let go of?
Yeah.
If you don't have the career, the love life, live in the house, ask yourself, what is it that I need to let go of here?
Mm-hmm.
And then you ask your divine resistance to let go of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? I'll be asking for assistance to let go of what's in the way of me stretching.
Yes.
No, I will be doing it. Like,
Yes.
let go because apparently the universe wants more space in my body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever reason, I don't exactly know. But okay, help me to let go of whatever's in the way here.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to receive that long, lean, flexible body, especially as I age, right?
Yeah.
Especially, right? So what are you trying to what do you need to let go of? We're all trying, hungry to receive. Yeah, just let go. All healing is a subtraction.
Yeah.
All healing is a letting go. It's not acquiring.
Right.
That's not what it is.
So for many people who are carrying disease around with them, which we see more and more of that today, it's really kind of garbage they're carrying along with them
I
that's
don't want to.
affecting.
Life is very complicated. Like if you've got some sort of, God forbid, physical disease that a doctor, has certified, I don't know why you're ill.
Hmm.
I don't want to claim you're ill because you've got some sort of limiting belief. What
Right.
do I know?
Yeah.
There are so many things functioning, impacting what you're manifesting, right? So, one thing we do know that impacts manifestation is your thinking, your feeling, your expectations.
Hmm.
Those are things that you could work on. All of us can work on.
Yes.
So Is that why you have your disease, Helga? I don't know, but you could work on your thinking to be more positive. You could work on feeling better, laughing more, releasing your sadness, crying,
Hmm.
work on what you're expecting. And maybe that'll impact the disease. Maybe not.
Right.
But ultimately, Helga, you work on your thinking, your feeling, your outcomes. However you want to do it, through hypnosis, through channeling, through energy medicine, whatever, bowling, however you want to do it, Helga. Let's see if you feel, regardless, it may impact your lab results, it may not, but ultimately you will have a different relationship with life.
Yeah. And that's a lot to do with kind of the attitude around it as well, right? I think for so much of us is that we weigh ourselves down, and again, unknowingly, like you're able to see what those weights are, what is in the way, and how many people walk through life are just unaware, of what they're carrying with them or that they are the blockage. And because nobody's told them, as you said, people coming to you, you're going to give them the truth, whether they like it or not. But we've got to be willing to hear that truth for us to actually deal with it, to face it. Otherwise, it's always going to be traveling with us and weighing us down.
Right, but people generally don't want to hear the truth because of
No,
change. Now
yeah.
consider the ocean has been compared to consciousness as a metaphor for consciousness. In the ocean, I'm from Long Island, and when we go to Jones Beach or wherever, they say beware of the riptide. Because you don't want to get caught in a riptide that pulls you out into the ocean.
Mhm,
Consider, listeners, that if you are in a place in your life where nothing is happening, we've all been through that. I've tried this, I've
mhm,
tried that, I've tried energy thing, I tried hypnosis, I tried that, I tried acupuncture, and still nothing's moving. You are in a karmic tide.
mm,
You are in a karmic tide, meaning that this was set up before you got here. And
mm,
maybe what you've done just contributed to it. I don't know. So a lot of times, if you're in a karmic tide, you tried and it's not happening. The thing to do, and if you're swimming at the beach and you get caught in the tide, they say to you, stop swimming against the tide.
mm,
Stop efforting.
mm.
Tread water. Relax. Stay afloat. Keep your head on the horizon so that you know how far out you're going and you know when to swim back. You'll
Mm.
feel when the tide lets you out,
Yeah.
and then you'll know direction what to go in. So if you've been stuck and lost for a long time, you're in a karmic tide.
Mm,
Water, relax. Find someone to swim with you, tread water with you, keep you company,
mhm,
keep you calm. Do your practices to stay centered, to stay balanced until the karmic tide lets you out. Stay facing the shore, and then you swim in.
right.
And
Right.
what's happening to you may not be your fault,
Yes.
may not be the result of your thinking, feeling, but having said that, you could still do something with your thinking, feelings, and expectations.
Hmm.
Now, calm down, tread water, relax as best as you can, let go, keep yourself balanced. Let go. Finally.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, you're quote, quote, not tired because all you've been doing is treading water and not trying to swim against the tide, right? So now you actually do have the energy because you see shore and you are free. And that energy will come in to help you get there. Rather than, trying to go against the wind, so to speak. All it's doing is blowing you back.
Right, which is why you blew out two of your batteries.
Right. Hmm.
I have experience with trying to get efforting to make your life different, and it's not happening.
Hmm.
And that's when you blow out your batteries.
Hmm. That's why breath is so important, isn't it?
Breath, humming, do
Hmm.
it, everyone's got their own path forward.
Yeah.
Find out what works for you. And this is why it's so important to develop presence.
Hmm.
I don't know how people move through the world without well-developed intuition.
Hmm.
There's so many
Robotically.
people telling you what to do in their product. I don't know how people get through without having a sense of what's calling
Yeah.
them.
Hmm.
So if you want to survive a technological culture that's continually beaming information to you, you best develop your intuitive gift.
Hmm. To be discerning of what counts and what doesn't. And we are oversaturated as a human race right now. We don't know what is truth, what isn't truth, where do we belong, who are we, what are we here to do, because there's bombardment. And as you said, it's like if you're in a hurricane, go to the center, right? Stop swirling around, or go with it and wait to be thrown out. But it's resistance is futile. We can't go up against it. It's more powerful than us. So go with it. And at some point, you will find that exit out of it. But I think it's, you know, as you said, being present with self, and how many people are actually comfortable with being with themselves.
I mean, I have my days where I'm not.
Hmm.
I don't think, what people like to believe, because there's this thing of spiritual materialism,
Hmm.
which a lot of podcasts are about, a lot of healers and psychics are about, trying to say, look, the gift, the psychic gift, the intuitive gift was never meant to get you ahead financially. It's not
Right.
for.
Yes. Yes.
Not what it's for. And those people who do that blow out eventually in a
Hmm.
big way. I've seen it. I'm
Yeah.
old. I've seen it. You're old enough to have seen it.
Hmm.
I see every day something on YouTube, accelerated practices to open your third eye, open
Hmm.
your root. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is bad because people's systems aren't developed enough to do that
Exactly. Yes.
without getting falling apart.
Yeah.
So where was I going? I don't know where I was going, but
No,
yeah,
I mean, like there are people that are suddenly kind of woken up to something and they're literally shattered by it, because really there is a gradual step into awakening. There is a process into awakening, and it's being present with each awakening and not just jumping right into the deep end and hoping you can navigate the waters.
right. And the question always when people talk about awakening is, I have to ask what that is to you.
Hmm.
What do you mean by awakening? Well, I want to enter into the fifth dimension. What are you talking about? That's somebody else's language. What do
Hmm.
you think awake? Because everyone's version of awakening is different.
Yes.
I'm awakened in some respects.
Hmm.
My version of awakening is very playful.
Hmm.
My friend who's also awakened, she's more poetic,
Hmm.
more into the natural world. Like to me, everything's funny.
Hmm.
So to me, when someone's awakened, they're more fully alive.
Yeah.
And they're more fully alive because they allow themselves to be who they are.
Hmm.
That's it.
And you can feel them because you can truly feel their energy. As when before we started the show, you were saying to me my energy was off, and I'd come off one call or one show, and I hadn't kind of recentered. And so I went outside for a few minutes and allowed the trees and the leaves and the wind to talk to me and the sun to warm me, which just kind of reset, which I hope you felt a different energy when I came back. And it's I think we where is our core? Going back home to the core, what is our center? Because that's kind of is quote quote the kind of the safe place. You're going back home, you're with center, you're with self, you're with your wisdom, your knowledge, and it feels right. And how do we get back there? And also to make sure we don't leave there, so to speak. So we can expand that core out, but can we get back into that core and be centered again?
Well, here's the challenge. The way an infant learns that they have a core is the infant looks up to mommy or daddy or whoever
Hmm.
and sees the mommy, daddy, or whoever looking back at them thinking they're a treasure.
Hmm.
Now, if you're an infant and your mommy, daddy, or whoever did not look down upon you as if
Mm.
you were a treasure, but in a position, or looked down at you as a treasure and then got distracted, You as an infant then are like, wow, I like the way they looked at me. I wonder what I did wrong
Mm-hmm.
to cause them to look away. So let me gain their attention by being cute, adorable, crying all the time, whatever it is.
Yes.
And you
Having a tantrum. Yeah.
whatever was, so for me, mm, there are three kids in my family, and my sister's only 11 months older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
I imagine
Mm-hmm.
my mom and dad were like losing their mind,
Yes.
right? So when my mom looked away, I was like, how do I get her attention?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, oh, I'll be adorable and make it all about you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
really good about making it all about other people. I've been
Mm-hmm.
living it, right? And there's a place that doesn't work in my life,
Right. Right.
right? So if you're somebody who never learned where your core was,
Mm-hmm.
because your mommy and daddy never saw you or saw you for long enough as a treasure,
Mm-hmm.
you have a challenge knowing where your core is because it was never shown to you.
Exactly.
You're always looking outside for someone to show you.
Yeah. Verify, validate, see me, justify me, everything me, rather than, being with me.
Right. It's very messed up how our God like organized
Yes.
our psychology and why we pay the price. I don't know. I
A
don't
little
know
Monty Pythonism going on there.
that. What's that?
A little Monty Pythonism, Monty Python. He's aging myself here. But, a John
Well,
Cleese sense of humor. So,
right, right. So here we are, like
yeah.
and a lot of self-development people don't have a firm grasp of self
Hmm.
and try to bypass it by a connection with the whole,
Right.
but they don't have self. So there's a place in their development where they will fall apart. They will reach for the stars, connection to guides, dead people, whatever. And eventually their soul will bring them back to deal with themselves.
Exactly. They're so busy doing the not being. Hmm.
And there's a level of inauthenticity. You
Yeah.
can feel it.
Yeah.
Really have somebody with you.
Hmm. For me, being is just that sense of deep breath. It's such a beautiful, peaceful place to be. It is most certainly where I belong.
Mm,
But what am I put here to do is to share how to get there. And that's why I do it through podcasts of bringing people like yourself on. And everybody's at a different level of journey. People listening here today may be ready for you, may be ready to be honest and face the honesty of what is really blocking them, what the real truth is, and willing to do the work that it takes in accepting that and putting it right. And there are other people go, no, 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 no. I'm not ready for that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's like, it has to be free will. People have to come to you in free will. I am freely willing and able to accept whether they do or not, but eventually they will.
what I think is interesting is you can't really raise your vibration
Mm-hmm.
thing. All of us are notes on a piano. I might
Mm-hmm.
be C sharp, you may be a whatever, B, whatever it is. I'm not trying to be any other note than the note I am.
Right. Yeah.
Rural ice cream, I might be rainbow sherbet, you might be mint chocolate chip. I want to be the most rainbow sherbet I can be. Get out
Mm-hmm.
the chocolate chips,
Yeah.
get out the waffles, get out the other. I just want to be rainbow sherbet. The more rainbow sherbet I am, the more I clarify my
Yes.
vibration. And
Yes.
that's what we're looking for, a
Mm-hmm.
clarified vibration. You're looking to become you. You're not
Mm-hmm.
looking to raise your vibration because that makes it seem like it's a contest.
Mm-hmm.
My vibration higher than your vibration. It's so ridiculous. All you got to do is be you. That's it.
Yeah. I kind of draw the analogy to that is, embracing what our instrument is, or what flavor of ice cream. But for me, it's what our instrument is, learning how to play it and play it well. However, you can join an orchestra, each in your own strength, each with your own instrument, and harmonically play together in order to transcend. That's where you raise. That's where you raise that frequency, because it's a collective frequency. It's not a raising of yours, it's a collection that then enhances everybody's. But it's not going to be as transcending if somebody isn't being honest with their instrument.
Right. Like you saying, look, I'm sad that I don't have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm relieved I don't have a partner.
I know.
That's
Yes.
honest. That's
Yes.
as opposed to pretending, oh, I'm okay. No, I am sad
Yeah.
and I'm here and I'm
I
bring
just want what they call the part-time lover, it's
right,
companion, really. It's really just,
right,
you
but
know,
there's a place of like, I'm not pretending I'm not sad about this.
yeah,
I'm not bypassing that I'm not sad about this. I am sad and I'm here with you and I'm happy to be here with you. That's true.
yeah,
So listeners, just clarify your vibration. Who you
yes,
are is perfect. You just got to be you.
yes.
And
What flavor of ice cream are you? What instrument are you?
hearts
And
and
just
minds.
play you. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. And be willing to make that discovery of who you really are honestly, because that's the most important thing. And that willing to face the things you don't want to face, right? And it's not somebody attacking you. You're not attacking someone. You're not putting them down. You're just making them face a reality that they perhaps preferred not to this point.
I had a client who he's in his third year of natural path school. He's having a really hard time passing exams. Smart guy. And he's like, what's in my way? I'm like, okay, here we go. And I said, I see you with a hammer and you're making some piece of furniture. He's like, I love making furniture. I would be a handyman if I could.
Mm,
So why aren't you a handyman? Why are you trying to be a naturopath? Because you can't make a living as a handyman. Are you
right.
kidding me? You can make
Yeah.
Seattle. You
Yeah.
could you make more money than you could make a lot of money.
Yes.
And he's like, no, no, it's low class because he was really convinced that he didn't want to be
Mm.
a scholar.
Because somebody had convinced him along the way, right?
Money or whatever that is. And he he thought he was lower or less than because he would work with his hands.
Mm.
And within 2 days, he had bought himself a truck. All of a sudden, he got in action.
Yes. Embraced. Embraced who he was.
And he
Yeah.
did it. And now he's a handyman.
Yeah.
He's got like two people working for him. He's making bucks, and he's happy as can be
Yes, exactly.
because he accepted who he is.
Back to the case of, the janitor and the CEO. Why does the janitor have to feel shameful for being the janitor? They've set the stage. Be proud of who you are. The dustman, be proud of who you are, because every single body counts in the roles that we're in. Every role is needed, right?
Hopefully, the janitor likes being a janitor. That's
Yes, yes. Don't just, yes, we do take jobs, for the paycheck. But when, I interview a great deal many musicians, and many of them have been in the business 50, 60 years. And, they've had the downtime, but it's the beauty and what I love about interviewing them is they're already in their soul truth. They are already, they're not, the voice or the instrument isn't what they do, it's who they are. And you feel it in the music, and that's why they've had such longevity. And, when you have an author that, the things pour out of them because that's what they've been chosen to be. And it's like, well, what instrument am I? What am I meant to be here? And embrace that. No comparison, no competing. You are. Just embrace the gift that you are and be that gift.
so I think that's interesting. And the language is interesting because as soon as you identify that that's who I am, kaboosh. If you're really attractive, enjoy being attractive, but don't
Hmm.
identify that you are somebody who is attractive. If you're really smart, enjoy being really smart. Do the crossword puzzle on Sunday. Enjoy, but you're not somebody who's smart. That's not who you are. If you're somebody who's really intuitive, you enjoy being intuitive, but
Hmm.
you're not somebody because as soon as you attach the identity, if you're on a spiritual path, guess what? That identity will attempt to be separated from you.
Mm.
Because that's all spirituality
Right.
is the release of identity.
Hmm.
So if you're a musician, enjoy being a musician,
Yes.
but it's not who you are. Because as soon as that gets taken away, you will suffer.
Hmm.
And the fact that you are, it's like listening to a comic on stage. A comic who's identified with being a comic tries to make you laugh, and there's
Hmm.
tension. The comic that's up there, who's just enjoying being up there and
Hmm.
enjoying just being there, has his attachment from his identity, and it gives
Hmm.
you a level of freedom to enjoy them.
Hmm.
You are not really, you are, if you're good looking, like again, enjoy being good looking.
Yeah.
Look at me. I look at me. Clothes look great on me. It's awesome. Not who you are because you're going to age. Eventually,
Yes.
you're not going to have that as much or in that way.
Hmm.
Be who you are, but don't be attached.
Right. And who you are, you may be being given a gift to use, to be, to express, but it's not your identity of who you are.
Mhm.
It's the tool that you've been given.
Explore you,
Yeah.
to explore this world.
Hmm.
Right? I'm not super smart. I'm not super good looking. Fucking intuitive like no one's business.
Right.
That's my tool to explore.
Yes.
Some days I wish I was really good looking. A lot of days I wish I were really good.
But you know that there's the people that are good looking saying, I wish I wasn't so good looking because I wish people would see me for who I really am and not just my looks.
Right,
And
and you want to say,
there's always something,
you
right?
want to say, be quiet, you're ruining it for me.
And you know what is good
Be pretty.
looking? I think for, when you meet somebody where they're all heart, you can feel their soul and they make you feel good and they light you up. They're beautiful. They're beautiful inside and out, and it's got nothing to do what the exterior looks like. It's the interior of them that is it just illuminates and makes you feel wonderful. And they're beautiful. In case in point, I interviewed a young lady called Keshi, and she's a burn victim. Plane crash went down, only two survived. She was burnt 65% over her body. And the first time I interviewed her, it was about that journey and how it affected her life and how many operations she's had. And then she was on America's Got Talent in 2017, and like I'm just suddenly seeing her there, and people went like, oh, when she comes on, because she's clearly a burn victim, right? Can't hide it, can't masquerade it. She clearly is. And the moment she started singing, people felt, because the singing is what saved her life. And you could feel that her life source came out in her voice, and
Mhm.
everybody saw how beautiful she was. And she went on to do very, very well. And I've had her on three times. And and each time she leaves me with something, that is like, my God. But it is the beauty. What we really want is the beauty inside out. The packaging is nice, but if you're ugly on the inside, what does it matter? We want the beauty from the inside out.
I don't know. Some days I like a little.
Yeah.
I like inner beauty, but I am a man. I like pretty.
Yeah, and I'd love to be, long, lean, and slender, but I'm a 70-year-old with everything going south, and it is what it is.
Exactly. Aging is all about letting go to prepare us for
Exactly.
the ultimate letting go,
Yeah.
right? So some people fight it and Botox and plastic surgery, and God bless them, that's their path.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, aging is about letting go.
Yes. I've been gray haired now since 2017. I just let it go, stopped coloring it. And, as I said, things are going south. I've got friends my age that are nice and skinny, and wouldn't I like to be that? Yes, only because it's so much easier to buy clothes, that are easy to fit. And when you're a curvy woman, it's much harder. I would prefer not to have that battle. But I am what I am. And the curves actually make me more snuggly, and my grandchildren love it. So, it's embracing who you are. We all would love, I kind of wish I had this and I wish I had that. And that's part of the human nature. But when it ultimately comes down to this is what you get. And I'm okay with that.
Right, right, right. Good for you, my friend.
Wrinkles and all. So, and that's the thing about aging, or anything that you go through in life. It's you you've earned the scars, so to speak. They're a definition of your journey, and it's um, don't hide it, don't apologize for it. We've all made mistakes along the way. Let go of it, and just it's defined who you are today through your life experiences, and never deny the experience, whether it's good or bad.
Agreed.
So somebody's on that journey ready to have the honesty, ready to have somebody say, this is what your block is. What are you going to do about it? How did they get hold of you? What is the
Ah,
process?
my website is colbywilk.com, COLBYWILK. And on that website is a newsletter. You can sign up for that. As well as I sent you a free gift
Hmm.
called The First Step to Finding Your Way, which is for people who have a direction they'd like to go in, hasn't shown up. It's the first step, the first secret to knowing your way. And I'm on most of the social channels, social networks.
Right. So you've got Facebook business and Facebook your thing,
YouTube.
YouTube. And so, and thank you very much for the gift that you're giving to everyone else, because that could be their first step,
Would be
taking
that
that.
first step.
Yeah. So, I would say the biggest leap you will take is your first step.
The first poem that somebody gave me was the journey of 1,000 miles begins with
Mm.
the first step.
It, absolutely. And,
None of your
like,
listeners are on their first step.
mhm. And
But the next step,
how many first steps do we take in life? So many. I mean, I used to be the hare, hare and the tortoise. I used to be the hare because such a visionary, I would see the end result and who it benefited, and I wanted to do it, get it made, let's do it. And now I've become the tortoise. And by being the tortoise, I've been more aware of my surroundings. I'm meeting the ants and meeting the other creatures and meeting people along the way, and kind of gathering and feeling more connected than I ever was as the hare. And so it's okay for us to change who we are, uh, as we age and become, because it's just part of the life cycle.
you have a pet turtle.
I don't have a pet turtle. I don't have any pet right now. I'm looking for a dog. I've asked my dog, who's deceased, to send me a dog, and we've looked at two, and they haven't been right. And every dog has chosen me, and I know when the time is right, the
King
dog will
Charles
come.
Cavalier.
Hmm?
King Charles Cavalier.
Really? Ah, I was looking for something
White with
smaller.
orange.
But I have to have hypoallergenic and small for where I am, and also kid friendly because it's going to be a shared dog.
King Charles Cavalier.
I don't even know what that breed is. I'm going to have to
Oh my
look
God,
up.
they're adorable. Long ears,
Uh-huh.
and small, I don't know, 15 pounds maybe.
Yeah, that's all I'm allowed is 15 pounds where I live. But and got to be great with kids.
Kids. I
Yeah.
just see this animal in my head.
I have to look that. Well, again, it's like I've said to her, please bring forth the dog I'm meant to have, and that that the kids are meant to have. And my second grandson, because my daughter's due for another one in October, has Down syndrome, And, being gentle is not something he's learning. He learned yet. Everything is wackaroo. And he loves dogs and chases after them because he wants to play with them. But, he hasn't learned gentility yet. But
Oh,
my God, when you're talking about being present and you're talking about just, living in the moment, my God, he's a wonderful lesson to watch. He cries when he's upset or needs something. Otherwise, he's just in exploration and happy, loves music, and he's just such a present child. It's beautiful.
oh, I'm so glad.
Gorgeous little creature. They both are, but he's a nana boy.
Um,
But that's again, some people could look at it, oh, why was I given a child that has this challenge? I call it differently abled. And it's like, why not? Because I feel each and every one of them are here to teach us and show us a different way to live or a different point of view. And it's like, stop looking at differences as being bad. Look at people with either differently abled or different flavors of life and enjoy the feast.
I have a hard time when people say everything's a lesson. I'm like, screw you. Everything's an opportunity,
Yeah,
but I don't know if everything's a lesson because that presumes, again, that's overly controlling.
right.
What's our opportunity here?
Yes.
That's it. We
Yes.
have a kid who's differently abled. All right, we can expand in this direction, that direction. Okay. You either become humbled or you become humiliated in life,
Hmm.
especially as we age,
Yeah.
or especially as situations occur that we don't want them. You can be humbled by them or humiliated. You take
Hmm.
that personally, you make them mean that you're less than, life is hard, you're humiliated. Humbled, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Your choice, either way.
Hmm. Hmm. And kind of living in the humble of acceptance and gratitude, right? Gratitude being a big one when we're grateful, no matter if we're in a challenge or not. Just being grateful that you have the ability to face that challenge. You have the skills, tools, knowledge, wisdom, and energy and desire to face that challenge.
Absolutely.
So there's always a lot to be grateful for. And I think, we've, as a human society, I think we've forgotten that and we've developed a bad attitude rather and not a gratitude attitude. And I think that it would help us a great deal, I think, in our evolving if we kind of stepped into that more.
I don't know if society was any more. I mean, definitely when I was growing up, there was definitely more of a pro-America, like yay nationhood kind of thing. That's doesn't exist. It doesn't seem to me. But I don't know when I was growing up, any people were any more appreciative. I don't know. Maybe we've become more domesticated and we expect stuff.
More.
Expect
Mm.
milk at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Expect salt. We expect, and so therefore we don't have appreciation.
And a lot more
We don't
entitlement, I think,
entitle.
too. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. We are definitely evolving into a different type of species, and hopefully, one is one that really connects with your inner self because that's the beauty that you're bringing out. I think, had we had this conversation 10, 15 years ago, it would have been a totally different, not different conversation, but a different acceptance. And I think more and more people are on that journey of being open and willing to look at things outside of quote, quote, the norm. And I'm willing to take that journey. And the more and more that take that journey and become at one with self and the universe, I think the better off we'll be as a human race. So I think it's one person at a time.
One person at a time. I have a call I need to get ready for.
Yes, off we go here. So it's Colby, Wilk, WILK.com. You can find him on YouTube and Facebook and Facebook Business, and also look at his guests. But thank you so much for sharing here today. I really appreciate it. And also for the session that you've given me. I will now be more open to love. And you're right, I'm at that crossroads. Do I want to do it? But I don't have to have full time, like somebody moving in, and we can have a partnership that each our own, and we enjoy each other's company when we come together. So I can be open to that. Right.
Awesome.
So thank you so much. And to everyone out
For having
there,
me on,
mm,
and maybe we could do this again.
yes, most certainly. And to everyone out there, understand it's when you are willing to face what's in your way, whether you like to be told it or not, but you're willing to face what it is that's blocking you, and you're willing to take that journey forward, then you truly actually understand what life and living is all about. So may you embrace it, may you reach out to Colby, and may he help you on your journey of your own self-discovery. So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.